Yeah, you're welcome back to the part two of my 1 year in the Netherlands and all the culture shocks I experienced and my response to them. Okay, so you're welcome back. Please do well to like, share, and subscribe. You know how far, you know how we roll. Please subscribe, and that is only when you'll be able to continue this video. Okay, so you're welcome back, and I'm just going to go straight into it. I have done the intro and all of that in the part one already, so let's get straight into it. Okay, so the next culture shock, I think this is the sixth one, right? The next culture shock for me was the directness of the Dutch. Dutch people are so direct, and at first it can feel very offensive, but it's just their culture, right? So there's no sugarcoating or trying to mince words with them, no. Especially if you're the one that now asks them for, their feedback, or I mean, you requested for it. They tell you exactly how it is. Like, for example, if instead of saying something like, oh, this might not be the best idea, you know how we speak now, we Niger people, how we try to make the things nice. And I think I have done a video. Funny enough, I've done a video addressing this, where I talked about trigger words and all of that. That one, not before this people. They are very direct. They tell you things exactly how it is to them. So I was giving an example. An example is instead of saying this might not be the best idea, they tell you straight up this is a bad idea, right? And that is like one example. And they do that like looking you in the eye, like eyeball to eyeball. They look at you in the eye, and they love it when they're having conversations with you and you're also looking them in the eye. And they love it also when you two are direct with them. Like, they're just very interesting people. They don't do small talks. When you're having conversations with them, they want you to just hit the nail on the head, go straight to the point. No, oh, how are you doing? How was your day? All of those pleasantries we like to share, that we are used to Africans, is not a thing for them. They just want you to come up straight, look them in the eye, tell them as it is, go straight to the point, no small talks. Just hit the nail on the head, and you're going to know how to relate to them very well. So I struggled with that. It was really shocking for me. I struggled with that a bit, and with time, I also learned to, um, you know, have conversations with them, how not to beat around the bush and to write many things before I say what I want to say. No, just ask them, how is this done? No, oh, hi, how you doing? This and that. No, 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 no. Just go straight to the point. Of course, we already call them by their names. It's no my boss. It's no special, you know, formalities, even for your boss. Everyone. And this thing, they do it with everyone and anyone, right? Sometimes you see the way a child or a teenager is communicating with their parents, and you're like, okay, this is rude, bro. Calm down. This is not how we roll in my own place, but it's just how things are done here, right? I'm not going to train my children that way. No, no, no. Yes, and be expressive, be open and be direct when you have to be, but there's still that place. I'm not going to lose my own traditional culture because I'm trying to um, borrow this or imbibe this in them. No, like I said, there are certain things I'm picking, and I'm not picking. I'm definitely not picking everything, right? I see the part of young people, teens, children being so blunt, talking to their parents rudely and all that. No, not with my kids. No, 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 not with my kids, right? But for learning how to converse with them, especially when you get to do interviews and all that. If you don't know how they communicate, you might just be looking very funny to them, and you don't want to be in that position where you're looking very because the way you're also wondering why they're responding that way. There too, they're wondering why is this person talking too much. Why is this person talking too much? Speaking about talking too much, I also came and learned here how their communication basically, how while they are being direct, no small talks. Another thing about the way they communicate is they communicate softly, like they're not raising their voice. And me, I'm used to, I've always been used to when I'm communicating, I'm like, hey, la, 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 la. So when you're communicating with them that way, they're like afraid. Most times I notice they're like, "Ah, why is this person aggressive? Why is this person, So I came and also learned how to speak gently and softly, and still say the things I want to say, boldly, maintaining eye contact, speaking boldly, trying to avoid the small talks. I'm so used to small talks, like, oh, I want to prepare the atmosphere before I say what I want to say. But I've seen that that is not how they don't appreciate all of those things. So I'm also learning to drop that off, and especially when it's a formal setting, like you're not my friend, let's keep it straight. They appreciate it. So I learned it. Why not? Actually, now that I'm here, while I'm still here, I'm going to, keep working on how to communicate with them. And communication is two ways. You're speaking to somebody, and you want the person to understand, what you're saying, to be able to, receive what you intend to pass, right? And so, if that's what I must achieve here, means there's a lot of work to do. So while I've really grown. I've really improved. I see the way I communicate now. I see that I've improved, but there's also still work to do. So that's how I responded to that particular culture shock. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one, splitting bills. I found it very funny that somebody will invite me for an event or a party, and I should be thinking about asking, uh, am I going to pay? Like, why will you invite me for a party, or you invite me over, and when I'm going, you're sending me like an invoice? They call it tiki here. You're sending me tiki to pay for the things I ate at the party you invited me for. Shebi, you would have just left me to be on my own, JJ. I see this one, I will never understand it. I will never ever understand this. Just put a price to the party and say, okay, there's a gate fee or something. That's what we're used to, right? But I came here and found out that these guys, they and this is why I'm laughing. It still amazes me till today. I've not gotten over it, and I've not understood it, and I will not understand it. I don't plan to understand how somebody invites me for a party, and when the party is over, people are leaving, you're sending them tiki. Like, okay, pay for the drinks, the drinks you took, and everything. And so you find out that for them it's a very normal thing. They don't like to put pressure. Like, this thing about everyone being responsible for themselves, being people being independent. It has really eaten into it. That's why it's called a culture, right? Culture is a way of life. It is their way of life. You go on a date with a guy, everybody is bringing out purse to pay. Guy, everybody is paying for whatever it is they took, and it's so normal. Nobody's under any form of pressure. Like, splitting bill is normal here. How? Okay, so yeah, that kind of like created that consciousness. So now, if anyone's going to invite me for a party, the first questions I want to ask, so that I'm not taking unawares. I respect the fact that, oh, okay, you probably want me to be part of your event. While I appreciate that, can I know so I can plan ahead? I don't want to be shocked when you now ask me, when you now tell me, oh, I will send you ticket. I don't want that kind of shock. No, 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 no. I want to know ahead of time. Okay, so to my number eight. My number eight is digitalization. I came here and I was so, so impressed by how almost everything is digitalized, how you can go to the stores, pick what you want, pay for it yourself. And it's self-explanatory, it's easy to understand how to go about it. If you want it in English, you can click, you can just, you know, fix it yourself. And this their culture of being independent, being able to do things yourself. I think it played out here as well. Everything being digitalized, I found it really fascinating. The Dutch, I find them to be quite effective. They pay attention to detail, and that's going to that's what I'm going to say my response is, because you know the way they make it easy for you to be able to do things yourself. In fact, the other day I was in a bus going past a particular place, and I saw like bikes, bikes parked. I'm like, I hope people will not just come to hijack these things. And I found out, and I remember that, oh, this system is totally different. Where if you need one, you just go probably put your card, or if you have to put in coins or something, and it just opens up for you to be able to make use of it. When you're done, it calculates your hours, the hours you used it for, and then you're debited somehow. Everything is just connected. The payment system, everything is just so smooth and sweet. I'll be very, very honest. Or is it in your workplace? You find out that organizations, they really don't ever have to talk too much. Sometimes you might never need to have contact with them, and also, I mean, almost no need to have to like do the whole eye service thing, because you're coming in. There's a system where you can clock in, the system you clock out, your hours are calculated, you get paid for what you have worked for. Nobody's even talking to you. If you're trying to be funny, at the end of the month, you get the result of your being funny. That's really interesting. Yeah, I'll say that. Yeah, and so my response, like I said, is you know being more alert. Before coming here, I wasn't able to use the map. I had it, but I didn't have a need, to use it or to learn how to use it. So the same way I learned other things was the same way too. I came and learn how to use the map. So now I can find my way myself. I get to destinations myself, and it's just effective. Like you can just trust it to get you to where you're going. Okay, so moving on to number 9. Number 9 is the weather. I don't know what I was expecting. So there's a thing called Dutch weather. I don't know what it's like in other parts of the world, but here, yes, we use the map. The way I learned how to use the um, navigation app, the Google Map, and the rest of it, the same way I also had to learn, to understand, to read the weather apps, and yes, we use it. We check it before we go out in the morning. We check it before we make certain decisions. While we use it, yeah, it might not be 100% reliable. And so that I came and I saw that even the Dutch people, even when the weather says, oh, it's going to be a bit warm a certain day, you see them carrying extra clothes, extra jackets. And so who am I not to? So yeah, there's something called, it's a thing, the Dutch weather is actually a thing where today it says, oh, it's going to be warm, but you step out and you're saying, oh, it's raining, and the next minute it's actually warm, and the next minute it's cloudy again. And you're like, what's going on? Why is this weather so confused? So something like that, yeah. I found it really shocking. Yeah, I mean, I not the cold this time around, but the fact that the weather is not stable, you cannot 100% rely on it. Okay, so my response to it was like the Dutch. I carry my extra clothes, extra jacket, that extra thing to keep me warm, because you see this are cold and I can't deal. So yeah, anything to keep myself warm. Okay, so that's that about my number 9. So moving on to my number 10, and the final um, one from me today is the tax system. I find the tax system really, really interesting as well. It's a progressive system where you earn more and you get to pay more tax. And it kind of brings the rich in quote and the poor in quote almost on the same level, because you're earning a certain, in fact, there's a certain amount you earn, you get to pay like 50% of your 50% of your earning as tax. That's like half of your earning, like right in your very before. And it's so, it's just structured in such a way that it's just deducted, right? So just like every other place, you get to pay your income tax, your VAT, health insurance, and all of that, all imbibed in, all together, right? And I think the good side to it, or the flip side to it, is the fact that you're actually seeing the result of, you're seeing your tax go into good use, right? For example, the income tax from, the people earning more in quotes, most of it is used to ensure that the people not earning as much are comfortable, right? They are faring well, like social security, and they're faring well. The less privileged are faring well. They have a certain amount they earn, they feed with, and they're just comfortable. And so maybe that's what affects the fact that everyone's just living a simple life. There's no pressure to want to do this and do that like our people. Build this and build that and earn this and earn and just want to live life. For them, they have their meal, they are just okay, they're fine, basic things, they're doing fine, and that's just okay for them. Quite interesting, right? I know. So yeah, basically, how will I see my response to this one is I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still in awe of this. Like I'm still in awe of this, really. Yeah, I'm still in awe of this. So you have this, and that's why you see people say, abroad, I'm here abroad. Yes, life is easy and life is smooth. It doesn't mean you should now come and be taxing me like there's no tomorrow. Because, I mean, you have these taxes you're paying, and then you get to pay rent monthly, and it's not like small money. You get sometimes 1,000, 1,005 euro, pounds, wherever, depending on where you are. And by the time you look at the end of the day, you almost have nothing. So if you're not prudent enough, you're not careful, you find out that you almost have nothing to save, right? So, like I said, I mean, it's still amazing for me. Yeah, you see these things online, but when you come here, you really understand what it's really like. And sometimes when it looks like, oh, you're very comfortable and you're saying, oh, there's no money, it's not like there's actually no money, but the money is going into these things, and it's just a system. It's just like flowing and it's just going round and round like a cycle, So it takes like extra intentionality to be able to put some money aside. Well, that's that about that. For me, like I said, I'm still trying to get a perfect response to this. I wouldn't say I've gotten it 100% clear, and hopefully the next time you hear from me I'll have like better information as regards this. But for now, this is where we'll be drawing the curtain. We've finally come to the end of part 2 of this story, of this edition. um, 10 culture shocks I experienced and how I responded. Thank you for staying up to this very point. I'm so glad we're back. And yes, again, please do well to share, like, subscribe. Now. If you don't subscribe, you'll not see the next one. I'll just do a bragadabra, it's not show up on your screen. Please do subscribe and share with your friends. Let them know that I'm back and I'm back for good. Thank you. Bye.